Some of your best machinists don't want to be supervisors. And the ones who say yes sometimes regret it immediately. So now if you watch part one, we talked about why promoting strictly based on skill creates problems. Today we're going deeper because there's something nobody talks about in shops. Not everyone wants to lead, even if they're capable, even if they're respected, even if they're the obvious choice. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Gerald. If you've been here for the first episode in this arc, you already know we're not having surface conversation. If this helps you think differently about your shop, go ahead and hit like. Share it with someone who's stuck in this situation. Subscribe if you want real talk about manufacturing culture. And as always, hit that little notification bell so YouTube doesn't treat this channel like a tool crib nobody has a key for. All right, let's talk about identity. When someone spends years on the floor, they build an identity around mastery. They're known for running tight tolerances, dialing up in setups, fixing problems, producing results. Their value is clear, it's visible, it's measurable. When you move into supervision, the clarity disappears. Now, your success is measured by other people's performance, attendance, morale, communication, conflict resolution. And that's not the same dopamine hit. A machinist finishes a perfect part, their satisfaction. A supervisor finishes a clean week with minimal drama. No one celebrates that. It's invisible work. Some people thrive in invisible work. Others feel drained by it. Now here's the hard truth. Some machinists don't want to supervise because they love control over their own results. Leadership means your day depends on other people's behavior, and it feels unstable. Imagine going from, if I do this right, the part is right, to, if I do everything right, someone can still blow up my schedule. That's frustrating. Now let's talk about money. In many shops, the only way to make significantly more is to supervise. So the promotion isn't about desire, it's about income. That creates or that creates quiet resentment because now the machinist feels like if I had to give up a good thing I'm good at to make more, that's a trade-off. And if the shop doesn't support the transition, it turns into regret. Now think about friendships. On the floor, you're part of a group. You vent together, you joke together, you survive together. The day you become a supervisor, you're no longer us, you're them. That shift is isolating. Some people can handle that, others feel it deeply. And when that isolation isn't acknowledged, it builds internal stress. Now let's connect this back to part one. When someone feels isolated, overwhelmed, and undertrained, that's when pressure leaks out. Sometimes it's passiveness, sometimes it's aggression, sometimes it's dictator style we talked about. But underneath it, there's often something or someone thinking, I shouldn't have taken this job. Here's something most owners miss. Just because someone is quiet about not wanting leadership doesn't mean they want it. Many machinists accept supervision because they feel obligated. They think it's the next step. I owe this company. They need me. Obligation is not motivation. And leadership without motivation burns out fast. Now let's talk about another layer. Some machinists don't want to supervise because they've seen what it done to other supervisors. Longer hours, more stress, more blame, less hands-on satisfaction. Why would they want that? If your shop treats supervisors like shock absorbers instead of developed leaders, why would anybody aspire to do it? This is where structure matters, but not solving that today. That's part three. Today, we're identifying something deeper. Leadership must be chosen, not assigned, not pressured, not financially cornered, chosen and supported. If someone steps into supervision without hesitation instead of conviction, the hesitation shows up in a decision making, in accountability, in presence. Now, here's the uncomfortable question. Have you ever asked your best machinist if they actually want to lead, or did you assume they should? That assumption shapes everything. Some of the strongest shops I've seen have dual pathways: master technician tracks, leadership tracks, both respected, both compensated, both valued. Because mastery is not inferior to management. And when you blur those lines, you create frustration on both sides. Let's zoom out for a second. Why does this matter? Because misaligned leadership roles don't just affect supervisors, they affect operators, they affect morale, they affect retention, and they affect production stability. Everything connects. In part one, we talked about why promotions fail. Today, we talked about why good machinists hesitate. In part three, we're going to talk about how to design leadership structures that don't force the wrong people into the wrong roles. Because it's not about blaming supervisors, it's about building better systems. If you've ever turned down a leadership role or taken one and questioned it, I know I have. I had a two-room supervisor position I really, really wanted. But then when I got it, I wasn't so sure. I made do. I made good of it and made a lot of progress with it. But it still made you think. So If you've ever taken a leadership role or taken one and questioned it, drop it in the comments. This conversation is bigger than titles. It's about alignment. And alignment determines whether a shop grows or slowly erodes. I'll see you in part 3.